What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with some Destiny 2 news and updates. Also some wider Bungie news and updates here, I guess. Bungie offer clarification around changes for episode Heresy, a couple of important ones that we've had this week. We'll also talk about reward bugs in this video, a couple of things which Bungie haven't identified but are indeed affecting players, so that includes missing featured rewards for Vesper's host. On top of that though, it's now possible to obtain shiny Heresy weapons which actually come with triple perks. We've got more discussion around Frontiers and how Bungie plan to feature previous seasonal content in the game during the new era. Plus we'll talk about upcoming reveals for Bungie, Marathon and Destiny. I know there are mixed vibes on some of that stuff, but for the moment I'm at least aiming to keep you guys updated. So if you do enjoy the content, a rating below really helps us on the channel. Otherwise though, now let's get into it. Bungie reiterate a couple of important updates they've offered for Heresy content initially. D2 team says we issued a change this week to help address court softlocks in expert difficulty, but we're still digging on an overall fix. So if you're playing Court of Blades on normal mode at the minute, I believe softlocks are still a common issue, but Bungie have changed the rotation on expert difficulty to basically avoid those softlocks. I'm not sure why they can't apply that to the normal mode as well, but something worth knowing if you don't want that to affect your playtime. Also, Bungie have said they're actively investigating an issue where the hull breach area is not appearing as often as intended. And as a workaround for the moment, they've said, until next week, every time we launch the Nether, the hull breach will actually be the starting zone. So that's really good for folks who want to explore the new zone and find the secrets. For many of the secrets, it's still possible that you can actually have to load that zone multiple times to get them to show up, but it at least removes some of the RNG. There is additional feedback around the founts and how difficult it can be to find secrets there. It's an interesting one because versus various exotic upgrades in the past, where we've had to run exotic missions repeatedly, like for the Choir of One upgrades, that in itself got pretty frustrating. Players did ask to see more of a return to sort of mystery and secrets. However, the implementation around the Nether puts an additional layer of RNG in the mix, which I totally understand is frustrating. I've felt that myself, so hopefully Bungie will give us more updates on that soon. Next up though, for any folks who've been trying to farm Icebreaker with Vesper's host being featured this week, whether you've gone in there yet or not, the community have pretty much established that the featured rewards and the ability to actually farm the encounter repeatedly for Icebreaker is not dropping rewards as intended at the moment. Bungie haven't officially recognized this. They had said in a recent patch that they'd fixed it. Obviously, that doesn't appear to have actually worked. Frustrating because I gave a shout out earlier in the week that Vespers would be featured. So I can only apologize for any folks that have wasted time on that basis. Obviously, I can't predict the future, and Bungie had indeed said that this issue was resolved. So hopefully they'll offer some clarification around that soon, but for the moment, certainly don't waste your time farming the final encounter for Icebreaker, as it is still not working, unfortunately. Back to some Heresy stuff though, it is now possible to obtain shiny Heresy weapons with triple perks, and for any folks who want shinies, of course, there's a separate conversation around drop rates, but there's a new faded scroll available with Act 3 called Unforeseen Potential, and this is obtainable after we reach rank 15 and claim all of the rewards on each path. So if you are still playing plenty of Heresy content and going after shiny weapons, definitely keep it in mind, as obviously getting triple perks just increases the chance of getting the rolls that we actually want on these weapons. So most definitely it's something worth keeping in mind. As we look to the future though, and hopefully getting an announcement around Frontiers soon, speculation continues as to whether there could be a delay or when the release for that may actually be. There's also questions now around the content that we're getting in Heresy, whether it's Ride of the Nine or indeed the Dreadnought, and whether that will simply be removed from the game as we go into Frontiers. Something to keep in mind though, Bungie had previously announced some parts of previous seasons are actually likely to be integrated into the core game during the Frontiers era. So when we look at the portal, which is going to essentially be the new director for the game, Bungie have said for fire team ops, these will be 3-player activities for match-made or pre-made groups designed for fire teams with cooperation, featuring activities like strikes, onslaught, the coil, and new types in future. So essentially, the strong indication is that Bungie may actually be bringing back activities like the Coil as new core playlists for the game moving forward. Obviously, there's still a lot left to learn about this, but it's entirely possible on that basis that things like the Nether could also factor into that playlist, so we'll just have to wait and see. Please, Bungie, if you do that, it'd be awesome if you'd make the Nether totally explorable with all of the zones unlocked. That would be a huge quality of life upgrade for the reprised Dreadnought in Destiny 2, so share your thoughts about it. Separately though, after the past couple of days where we've seen lots of Marathon teasers and a new ARG, which has of course been slowly revealing additional teasers for Marathon, even including things like Marathon weapons, as we can see right here. I actually don't know an awful lot about the ARG itself, but according to Marathon Bulletin, Jeff Grubb, who's previously given many correct insights on what Bungie are planning for the future, a full Marathon reveal is set for later next week. So that's perhaps a timeline where we can expect to see more information. Obviously, the specifics aren't confirmed, but it is clear based on what Bungie have been showing off and teasing here that an announcement is certainly inbound. Couple that with the fact that there appear to be potential pre-order bonuses for Marathon actually in the Destiny files, including a new emblem called Destination Tau Ceti. Obviously, this is going to factor into Bungie's reveal plans in the very near future. We can couple with that the fact that Bungie obviously have an announcement for Codename Apollo coming at some point soon as well. Obviously, it's just logic that that's going to happen this season because it's the next content drop for the game, but there is the additional component of pre-order bonuses for Frontiers actually being in the game files currently. Some of them leaked via the game files, like New Land Beyond, which has been discussed quite a bit. Take it with a pinch of salt, as it isn't confirmed, but there are solid indications that that's a thing, and even more solid indications of other bonuses, such as this exotic ghost, the anisotropic shell, which you can actually view. I believe it's still viewable in the collections inside of Destiny 2 right now in the game, so it's a bit frustrating to feel like we just continue to have to keep waiting to actually finally hear something about Frontiers. But with Heresy wrapping up in the very near future, Ride of the Nine drop-in, obviously this discussion around Marathon, and what we would assume to be a degree of sensitivity from Bungie, that it probably isn't healthy for players to feel like Destiny is being put on the back burner against Marathon. Either way, it's clear that many reveals and conversations about the future of both of these titles are coming relatively soon, so I'll be keeping you posted on that as always. For today, guys, that is what we have to speak about, so if you have enjoyed this video, a rating below really does help us out on the channel. Gotta give personal thanks to all of you guys who've continued to support me here. It's been a pretty weird couple of months. There was a relative high when Heresy dropped. Then in the past few weeks, general vibes and sentiment around Destiny have started to struggle quite significantly. And it's weird because I don't want to complain, but it should feel like a pretty exciting time in general as a Bungie fan. And for a multitude of reasons, that just isn't kind of coming together as you'd probably expect it to. Despite that though, many of you have continued to show a lot of support here on the channel, and I'm doing my best to continue to cover the games that we enjoy playing, right? I'm only a human being, so I do appreciate at least some positive human interactions that have been taking place in the past few weeks. So thank you all very much. And for now, I hope you guys have an awesome day.
I name my throne the High Heresy, formed in opposition to the Hive. Here I am Heresiarch. Here I am Jailer. For my throne will be Oryx's prison.